How's it going, fellas? Aspect here, and today I'm just bringing you a quick little commentary. I haven't made one of these in a quick minute. My microphone was actually broken, hence why I couldn't make any of these types of videos, but I do enjoy making these videos, and so yeah, I'm bringing you a little commentary today. Basically, I just want to talk about something that's been bothering me, both in the whole YouTube kind of cold community, whatever the hell you want to call it, and in my personal life as well. And I guess the main point I want to make is people need to think before they say things. I know it's very cliche or whatever, and I know people say this all the time, but people don't actually consider that enough. People really don't think before they say stuff, or if they do and they still say such stupid things and such arrogant and such hurtful things, then they're stupid. Because let me give you an example, right? I work in a small kind of convenience store type setting. So in my shop we get a range of people, all different age groups, mostly old people, just because of the area that we're situated within. We do get a lot of elderly people that come in, which is fine. You know, you get on the whole, elderly people are lovely. Obviously you get quite a few that are like quite stubborn and quite bitter, but overall they're really nice people, as you probably already know. But the other day, this one guy came in, and yeah, like, some of these elderly people are, for obvious reasons, quite lonely, and some might just come in to get, you know, some bread and some milk and whatever, but some might come in and they might want to have a little bit of a chat as well, which is fine. That's actually part of our job description, is to be friendly, the whole customer service type thing. And we, being a small store, we do know our like regulars on a more personal kind of basis, more personal kind of level. So this guy comes in. I'll give you a brief description of what he looks like. He really reminded me of like a kind of like stereotype of like a kind of like a mad professor, if that makes sense. I don't really know how else to describe it. Basically like you know, like grayish kind of like white hair, like the hair's like kind of crazy all over the place sort of thing. I think he was wearing a shirt, like a shirt, and yeah, just the way he presents himself, he seemed like one of those kind of like nutty professor kind of people. I don't really know how else to describe it, but yeah, we'll go with that. So this guy comes in, he quite clearly doesn't have the greatest health, so he asked if we could go and fetch him a chair out the back, because he needed to sit down because he was feeling really like faint and really dizzy. So obviously we went and got him a chair. I was on the checkout at the time, so I was obviously serving customers. I could overhear the conversation he was having with one of my colleagues. He was just, obviously you can tell by when you talk to someone, if by like the enthusiasm in their voice, if like you can tell if they're lonely, if that makes sense. Because this guy was, you know, he's really getting into what he was talking about. He was talking about how he used to be a surgeon and how he's helped people all his life, and he was talking about his career, and he's talking about university with my colleague that I work with. Yeah, and he was just really like getting into the topic and the conversation. You could tell he was really proud of what he used to work as, and he really wanted to share it with someone. Obviously he may not have anyone else to share it with, and that's why he wanted to stick around for a bit of a chat in the shop. Obviously, as we were talking to the gentleman, you could clearly, like, we already established he had quite poor health. You could see he was quite down on his luck, I guess you could say. So when he got to the checkout, the till, whatever you want to call it, I served him. You know, I was helping him pack his bags and whatever. And then he was counting out like coins and stuff. He bought quite a lot of shopping, but then he ended up having to put some back because he didn't have enough money. So you could tell he was a bit down on his luck and stuff, and he was paying with like coins rather than notes. But you know, it is what it is. he eventually managed to pay for his shopping, and a bit of a queue was building up at the time because obviously he had to like put things back, and he didn't have enough for certain things, so he was like choosing what he wanted and what he didn't want to keep, and you know, the bit of a queue was building up. We live in a kind of day and age where people are really impatient, and they're always looking at their watches. And like if you've ever been to places like London, maybe like, I don't know about places in America, but I assume like places like New York, everyone's running around, bumping into each other. They're just like hurry, hurry, hurry. They don't stop and observe the world around them. They're just busy with their going to meetings and doing this and doing that and on schedules. And you know, people are really impatient nowadays. So these people were getting a bit agitated in the queue. They were like, oh, come on, hurry up, you know. But this guy just wanted to chat. He just wanted to hang around and have a little bit of a chat. And these people were being kind of rude, to be honest. And the gentleman said, because as I mentioned previously, he has quite poor health. He had something wrong with his legs, which is obviously why he had to sit down originally in the shop. And so he had all these big bags, these heavy bags, and he asked out loud to the people in the queue, does anybody drive? And everybody instantly, all these people that were moaning previously, instantly went silent and kind of like acted as if he didn't say anything. Do you know, they like turned a blind eye to him sort of thing, which was kind of like a little bit upsetting, to be honest. Like, it's yeah, it was just quite rude. And then this one gentleman who was there with his son, I think this was the main reason why. I don't know, he might be a genuinely nice guy, but I feel like he was doing this act of kindness because he wanted to show his son an example. He offered to give him a ride home because the mad professor type guy, he only lived around the corner. He only lived like a few minutes away, but obviously with all these bags and his bad legs and stuff, it was quite a trek for him. So this guy with his son, he said, oh, you know what, mate, I'll give you a lift home. And he paid for his shopping, and then off they went in the car. And I thought it was a really nice thing to do. Everybody else was just like, just literally acted as if he said nothing when he was just asking for a ride home, which I thought was pretty bad. But this is the like day and age that we live in. It's kind of crazy how no one's willing to like help each other out, in a sense. Like, everyone's focused on doing their own thing, and they don't appreciate that they are at a certain point in their life where they don't need to they don't like need, how can I say this, they're at like, basically they take what they have for granted. That's what I'm trying to say. And they don't think about maybe tomorrow they might lose all their belongings, or their house, or their loved ones, or something. They never think, oh, I might be in that position in the future. You know what, this poor guy is only asking for a lift around the corner. It will take me what, a minute of my day to give this gentleman a lift home, and that will make his afternoon, that will make his evening. They'd much rather just stand there and ignore him. It's terrible. And then what really annoyed me even further is, as soon as this gentleman walked off out the store with his bags and with the other guy with his son to get the lift home, people were making rude comments. They were saying, oh, that man stunk, that man was really annoying, why wouldn't he go, why was he like hanging around and stuff. And people just, this is what I'm trying to say, people do not think before they speak. Like, things like that don't need to be said. I don't know if you've ever heard the saying, but my mum always used to say it to me: if you can't say anything nice, don't say it at all. And it's the same when I get on Twitter. When I get home and I get on Twitter and I see people, you know what the people on here are like, you know, on Twitter, people are like wishing terminal illness upon people. There's no place for it. Like, why would you say stuff like that? I know why they say it. It's because they think they're big and tough over the internet. They can hide behind a screen. But you just wouldn't say that to somebody in the real world. You shouldn't say it to anybody in the real world. So I don't understand why these people are saying just ludicrous and really hurtful things like that. Okay, rant over, guys. If you can take anything away from this little commentary, it's that main message that I'm trying to put across. please think before you speak. You don't know what when two people meet in life, you're on your own individual path, aren't you, through life? And the whole way we meet is we cross paths for like, it could be for a couple of years, it could be for a couple of minutes, but you need to consider what might have happened in the past to someone you're meeting, because you can't wish terminal illness upon someone when you don't know their past. They might have had family members that have died from terminal illness in the past, and saying something like that is really going to hurt them. It's really going to affect them. You need to consider how, like, somebody might have had a terrible day and they might be on the verge of like doing something crazy, like maybe, you know, like ending their own life or something, and they just need like that little thing to tip them over the edge. And for you to go and you might think it's banter or something, but for you to go and say something so hurtful, it might make them do that. And like, you couldn't live with that, could you? Like, I'm just gonna shut up now, guys. Just please think before you say stuff. I'm out.